Child labor, a global crisis which began in Europe, passed down to America. Children worked in terrible areas just because they seemed fit for work. This is a picture of children working in a factory. Introduction. Child labor was a cruel, unjust belief that was considered the norm in the 20th century. America building factories and mines caused the pain and suffering in the industrial age. Social reformers were the key in making protection laws for children because they believed in a childhood loss. Children are now required to go to school due to the fact that our leaders discourage children working day jobs. This boy is struggling in the coal mines, and as you can see, he has no good clothes and is very dirty and in pain. Historical question. What is child labor? What are child labor laws? How has child labor impacted our lives today? Why did child labor become a part of our society? Who are the social reformers? Thesis statement. During the Industrial Revolution, the U.S. built factories and mines where children were sent to work against their will in cruel conditions. Social reformers helped to create child labor laws, which positively impacted the lives of the children. Due to the child labor laws, the effect has been taken on the children of the present.
Background information. For centuries, everywhere in the world, children in poor families have worked to keep themselves and their family members alive.
Claims.
America built factories and mines which caused children to suffer and work in bad conditions. The boys in this image are working machinery and once again shows the lack of clothing and safety. Kids were injured and they had no insurances. Children from poor families were looked down upon.
In case you're wondering, employers use children because they have small body parts and can reach into small places and work cheap. Claim. Social reformers fought against child labor and helped create laws against child labor. They are all working. Lewis Hine was a social reformer who took photographs to spread the cruelty. They have desperation upon their faces and seem depressed.
After petitions and strikes, child labor laws were enforced. People, ideas, and events. People. Social reformers. Lewis Hine took pictures of struggling children to show the world. Charles Dickens was against child labor and wrote a novel. Jane Addams helped poor children and their rights. President William H. Taft fought against child labor. President Woodrow Wilson did not support child labor. Grace Abbott joined the Department of Labor to try changing laws. Ideas. The National Child Labor Committee stood against child labor because they believed that no child should have to work and struggle. Events. Keating-Owen Act, Hammer vs. Degenhart, Bailey vs. Drexel Furniture Con, Fair Labor Standards. Hammer vs. Degenhart and Keating-Owens Act. This law was passed in order that goods made by children stop their commerce. How did child labor start? After the Civil War, opportunities opened and children were needed. Poor families needed money and their children worked in dangerous places to survive. Poor kids were benefiting the government and women's rights joined to help. Basic child labor facts. Small children worked for 14 hours. Children were beaten if they failed to work. Resources were unsanitized. Factories thought healthy children were best fit for work, and education was seen as useless. Claim: education was not given to children in the Industrial Revolution, for families needed money through their labor. This girl is very dirty and has hopelessness. After certain laws were established, a proof of age and birth certificates were needed. Thanks to social reformers, children now, especially in Chicago, can go to school and have free education. Illinois Department of Labor Child Labor Law. This is a law. To work, you have to be 16 or older. You need certain certificates and the ability to work. And there is a specific time compatibility between working hours, abilities, and the different wages. Well, we are at the end and it's time to conclude. Child labor was a cruel thing that many children in the 1900s had to go through. The name shows the children's struggle and how much pain they felt. Social reformers worked against child labor and helped make rights. Overall, child labor was an issue and the effects of the laws were great. Now children, especially in Chicago, have free education, which didn't matter back then. With the help of social reformers, rights were created and education became valued.